this video, I'll give you the most recent information on the Ukraine and Russia conflict, including the southern Ukrainian city's loss of electricity due to Russian bombardment and the availability of electricity. So, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking the video before we begin so that YouTube can promote it to your friends and loved ones. So let's get started. One of the main electricity suppliers in Ukraine, DTEK, reports that the majority of the southern Ukrainian city of Odesa, as well as some areas of the surrounding area, are without power as a result of Russian shelling of energy infrastructure installations. The Russian Federation carried out another attack tonight on energy infrastructure installations in the Odesa region. And immediately, numerous structures were demolished because of how much energy is destroyed. All electrical users in Odesa were cut off, with the exception of vital infrastructure, according to DTEK. The supplier said, emergency shutdowns also happen in populous regions of the region. At the moment, the situation in the region is still challenging. The deputy head of the Ukrainian president's office, Kirilo Tymoshenko, used a telegraph on Saturday to address Odesa. He also verified that there is now no electricity in the city and that just a few crucial services, like hospitals, have had power restored. Background information: Russia is attempting to win what it cannot on the battlefield by submerging Ukrainian cities in darkness and cold as a long winter approaches. The outcome is a bloody war of attrition. Russian missile barrages fly over Ukraine, but Ukrainian power. In sub-zero conditions, engineers restore power for days. The number of missile attacks on Monday was the highest since November 23. Nearly every day, minor rounds of shelling are reported by officials in various parts of the city. Viktor Bout, a recently released Russian arms dealer, declared on Saturday that he would gladly volunteer to fight for Russia in its conflict with Ukraine. He declared that he would definitely go as a volunteer in what Russia refers to as its special military operation in Ukraine if he had the chance and the required qualifications. Bout, dubbed the Merchant of Death by his accusers, was freed from U.S. custody on Thursday as part of a prisoner swap for Brittany Griner, a great basketball player from the U.S. In a video interview with Kremlin-controlled TV network RT, Bout made these statements. Maria Butina, a former TV host and supporter of Russian gun rights, who now works for the network, spoke with him. Butina was deported to Russia in October 2019 after spent more than 15 months in prison in Florida after being found guilty of conspiring to operate as an agent for a foreign state in the United States. When questioned if there was a picture of Vladimir Putin in his cell, Bout replied, "Always yes. Why not being Russian and having Putin as our president makes me proud." Some background on Bout. The former Soviet military officer was convicted of conspiring to kill Americans, to obtain and sell anti-aircraft missiles, and to give material support to a terrorist organization. He was sentenced to 25 years in jail in the United States. Organization. Bout has insisted he is guiltless. Russian opposition figure, Kremlin skeptic and activist Navalny. He has been a well-known street protest organizer and has exposed Russian government wrongdoing on social media. Navalny was given a 9-year prison term earlier this year for fraud charges that he claimed were politically motivated. In addition to the imprisoned Belarusian advocate Ales Bialyatsky, Memorial, and the Center for Civil Liberties, 2 human rights organizations from Russia and Ukraine, received the Nobel Peace Prize for 2022 at a ceremony on Saturday in Oslo. The award was accepted on Bialyatsky's behalf by his wife. Prize money totaling 10 million Swedish krona, $900,000, will be divided among the 3 winners. The new winners received recognition for an extraordinary attempt to in this video, war crimes, in violations of human rights, and the abuse of authority in their home nations. When the winners were announced in October, the Norwegian Nobel Committee noted that they have for many years defended the right to criticize power and protect the fundamental rights of citizens. Russian prize winner denounces Moscow's war. Yan Rachinsky, the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize for Russia, condemned Vladimir Putin's insane and criminal attack on Ukraine in his acceptance speech. According to Rachinsky of the Russian human rights group Memorial, Putin now refers to opposition to Russia as fascist, and this has served as the intellectual basis for the mad and illegal campaign of aggression against Ukraine. One of Russia's most well-known and reputable human rights organizations, Memorial, sought to bring the violations to light and Stalinist atrocities for more than 3 decades prior to the country's Supreme Court ordering its closure late last year. Oleksandra Matvichuk, the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize for Ukraine, called for an international court to prosecute Putin and Belarusian strongman Alexander Lukashenko for war crimes on Saturday. This, according to Matvichuk of the Center for Civil Liberties in Ukraine, would guarantee justice for people affected by the war. In her award speech, Matvichuk stressed that justice cannot wait, and that war criminals should not only be prosecuted after the overthrow of authoritarian regimes. Russian strikes overnight in Ukraine's Nikopol district injured 4 persons, according to local officials. Overnight, towns in Ukraine's southern Nikopol district experienced heavy Russian artillery shelling. Valentin Reznichenko, a local Ukrainian official, said on Friday into Saturday. Yevhen Yevtushenko, the commander of the Nikopol District Military Administration, said on Telegram that 4 persons had been hurt in the town of Nikopol. According to Yevtushenko, Russian shelling also hit the Marganets neighborhood, although no injuries were reported by authorities. According to Reznichenko, damage was done to 11 high-rise and private buildings, a kindergarten, administrative and office buildings, a car wash, a vehicle park, multiple cars, a gas pipeline, and electricity lines. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which is seized by Russia, is located across the river from the Dnipropetrovsk region's Nikopol area. The frontline situation in the east, according to Zelensky, is extremely off Russian attacks. Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, confirmed on Friday that the military situation it was extremely difficult in certain areas of eastern Ukraine, but Ukrainian forces persisted in fending off Russian attacks. The frontline situation remains very difficult in the key districts of Donbas: Bakhmut, Soledar, Mariinka, Kreminna, Zelensky stated in his daily video presentation. On the front lines in Donetsk and Luhansk, which haven't shifted much over the past 3 months, are the 4 towns. In these places, Zelensky claimed that there is no living space left on the land that is unharmed by shelling and fire. The Russian army burned down Bakhmut, another city in Donbas, to leave it in ruins. Thus, the occupiers have literally destroyed it, defending the front, repelling attacks, and causing concrete losses on the enemy in response to the horror that came to Ukraine under Zelensky. Ukrainian forces are doing well. The flag of Russia. Situation on the front lines. The city of Bakhmut in Donetsk has been the scene of intense warfare for months. Numerous towns in Donetsk along the battle lines have also been extensively destroyed. Alexei Arestovich, a presidential advisor, claimed earlier on Friday that the Russians were advancing towards Bakhmut in an unprecedented manner. He added that with the Russians closing in on a village close to a crucial route, the situation in the vicinity of Soledar has worsened a little. Arestovich discussed dynamic front lines in the Luhansk direction when each side launches an assault. He did, however, claim that the Russians were currently on the offensive, indicating we are. I'm going to show you the following in today's video.